music lovers, my music machines, the Panasonic Take and Tape that plays and records cassettes, and the Panasonic Dynamite 8 that plays 8-track cartridges. It's a blast. Their terrific colors play on batteries and electricity. But what makes the Panasonic Take and Tape and Dynamite 8 so right is that they both sound like dynamite!
Hello and welcome back to The Good, The Bad and The Ugly Show. So today we're going to be taking a look at a bunch of these. The 8-track cartridge, that's right. Some of you may have never seen these before, others of you will recognise them quite well. I guess it's a form of dead media, I suppose. But before we get into this, let's have a little bit of brief history. So cue cheesy music. From the mid-1960s to the early 80s, the 8-track cartridge, formerly known as Stereo 8, was a popular music format. Most popular in the United States, but also England and other countries. Commonly used in cars, as it didn't require the need to be flipped over, as the magnetic tape inside is an endless loop. Created in 1964 by a consortium led by Bill Lear. The format is now mainly considered obsolete, but the legacy lives on. Okay, so we're all ready now. I have my slightly creased sheet to put things on. So we're going to go ahead and have a look at some 8-track cartridges now that I found at a car boot sale a little while ago. I found a huge amount. I found a bunch of them for about 50p each, which is a pretty good deal, I suppose. I don't know much about it. I don't know which ones are worth all that much money. I know a little bit, but not loads. So before we go waffling on, let's start with something. Here is an 8-track cartridge. Here we go. So this is the band Yes. It's even got its little case. These cases are kind of like harder to find because you don't see a lot of them. You usually see them loose. But here's what they look like. Here you go in all its glory. So this is the Yes album, Time and a Word, and these are the tracks that are on it. So the kind of the thing about these, so the reason I guess you'd buy them, because I mean you can just buy these on tape and on CD or on vinyl. Each one sounds different. Some formats sound pretty terrible. I mean cassette tape sounds pretty bad now compared to like say CD or whatever, being analog and not digital. But the thing with these is a lot of them are mixed very differently. So they would mix them completely different because of the car speakers and the way they came out. Because these things are used mainly for cars, so you get a kind of unique sound to it that you wouldn't get with anything else in the world. It's made by Atlantic Records, it's a good reason to pick them up, I suppose, isn't it? This one's from New York, look. So this is an American one. This you can kind of tell because I don't know if it's true or not, but the American ones seem to be in colour, whereas the British ones all seem to be black and white on the covers here. I'm not sure why that is, but yes, on 8-track cartridge, that's got to be a thing worth having, I'm sure. Yes. Next, we'll move on to the second one that has a case and is kind of posh. Help! That's right. So this one actually has a case, which is quite a rare thing indeed. As I say, you normally find them beat up, kind of loose. But so we'll take this out of its inner sleeve. Shove that back in. So you see, this is a British one, and it's more black and white, and you can tell it's British because it says it on there somewhere. It says like Middlesex or something on it. Here we go, Middlesex, England, EMI. So if you find the American Capitol records, they were made first, I believe. So this could have been made anywhere between probably between 1970 and 1988. I would imagine it's probably 70s, so this is probably about 1970, this one here. I mean, if it still plays alright, that's a hell of a thing, isn't it? But, it's a cool thing, and unfortunately, or fortunately, you could say, I don't know, but most of these I have here are in fact Beatles ones, because if I'm at a boot sale and I find something old, like cassette tapes or old tapes or anything like that, if there's mainly Beatles, I will pick up the Beatle ones because they're the ones that are worth loads of money, normally. But I understand better than anyone the horror of trying to put the word Beatles into a video on YouTube. I've had a bit of bad luck with that recently. So I'm not going to play any Beatle music or say too much because that hasn't worked out too well in recent months. But anyway, here's a Beatle 8-track cartridge. It looks very pretty, doesn't it? Yeah, look, the biggest sound around. I'm going to imagine this one's quite an earlier one. No, it says 1965, but there weren't any in England in 1965, so that's not quite true. Maybe late 60s, early 70s, I would say, for this. Something like that anyway. But yeah, there we go. We'll put that down there. And we'll move on to all the slightly rougher ones that we found here. So we will have this one next. King Crimson, that's right. I could not resist buying a King Crimson album on 8-track cartridge. Lark's Tongues in Aspic. Yeah, it's a good one, this album, actually. From what I remember, it's a pretty good one. Not sure where this was made. Ireland. I'd imagine it's probably American as well. This, you can probably see it somewhere. No, London. London, there we go. Another British one. That's fine. In colour though, so quite a nice one. 1973, so I would imagine this probably is from 1973, this one here. So yeah, we got this, and it's got to be a good one. Always worth picking up. We move on to another Beatle one now. So we have Rubber Soul. That's right, a fantastic album. This one's weird. It's like blue one side and black the other, and very out of focus for some reason. But yeah, weird. Like someone stuck it together. I don't know. But the thing with Rubber Soul is if you find the American Capitol one, obviously this is EMI. If you find the Capitol version, that's in colour. That was the very first Beatles 8-track cartridge made in 1965. So if you find that, you're probably onto quite a rare and interesting thing. This, however, is not that. This is probably 1970 or sometime after that. But yeah, another one here. So it is the British version because it's got Drive My Car and all that stuff on it. I think, yeah. Obviously the American version had a different track listing and all that. But yeah, we'll get through these pretty fast because, you know, time and all that. Here is Yellow Submarine. So yeah, that had all the classical stuff on one side and the album on the other. It's a good album. I'd love to hear the well, I will listen to it at some point, but I'd love to hear the mix of It's All Too Much on this because the original album version of that was pretty bad. So I imagine this might be quite good. I don't know though. Is it all what do you call it? Is it all myth about the sound being so unique for 8-track cartridge? I'm not too sure. I have heard things that make me think differently, but I don't know. Next we'll move on to Pink Floyd and Atom Heart Mother. That's right. This was great, and this would have been a great one to have if I hadn't noticed at the time that the bloody tape isn't in there. That's right. That is not the tape. So what's happened here is the tape's obviously snapped and has retreated back inside the cartridge, if it is in there at all. What I could do is crack it open, get the tape back out, and then glue it shut again. That could probably work actually. So if it turns out to be any point doing that, then that is something I will do. If not, I won't. Can't say further than that. Ram. Paul McCartney, his second solo album, Ram, that's right. So, yeah, Paul McCartney wasn't considered so big back when the Beatles split up. In fact, the most successful Beatles single-wise in the very early 70s was Ringo Starr, believe it or not. Very strange thing, that. Paul McCartney was the least of all the Beatles to have any interest. Of course, that all changed, and that's very different now. He's like the most richest, powerful Lord of England or something. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, Ram was quite a good album. Probably good to have in your car. Whack it in there. It's got Uncle Albert on it, and that was used on Only Fools and Horses, if you might remember. I don't know. What do we have next? So next we will go for something different. Right, here is a Capitol one. So this is the Beach Boys 20 Golden Hits, or whatever it's called. I don't think this is really... It says Capitol now, it's EMI, isn't it? This is the British version of a Capitol record. 1969, possibly... Yeah, actually, no, it might be. It might be, because the tracks are 62 to 67. But then those are from 69. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm just reading the dates when the songs were made. I don't know. But anyway, the Beach Boys. You need a bit of Beach Boys in your car because that's a fact. I don't know why. Here is A Hard Day's Night. As you can see, they're all a bit rough. Like they've all seen a bit of a... They've all been in a puddle, haven't they? Like, as long as the tapes work, that's probably the most important thing. But I don't even know if that's the case yet. I mean, I will try these out. Obviously, I have something amazing to play them in, which I will show you in a second. But I'm not going to play anything because I want this video to, remain on YouTube. So instead, you have to put up with this funky music we currently have playing in the background, which I'm sure you're all loving anyway. We'll put that there. We'll move on next to Now, how much more do we... Right, we've got a shitload of Beatles, so might as well carry on with them for a bit. Abbey Road, the iconic cover that looks a bit like that if it hasn't been like sat in a puddle for hours. So yeah, Abbey Road, that will sound good. I reckon that would sound good on an 8-track. I reckon if that is a thing. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it sounds like it's been under a river. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. Or you won't. I will. The Beatles, yeah, the Red and the Blue album, I mean, you know, they're classics, aren't they? So we got those two here. That's quite a lot of music for an 8-track as well. I can't imagine like how that would work. Is the tape thinner? Is there more? There must be. It must be. Yeah, it feels pretty thin actually compared to the other tapes. So it must be the same as cassette tapes where you want to put more onto it, you have to have thinner tapes so you can get more in there. I'm going to imagine it goes that way. So these are probably just snap, wouldn't they? I don't know. So that could make them more valuable. I don't know. Maybe none of these are valuable. Maybe they're all bootlegs. I'm not a aficionado on like 8-track cartridges, but this one's poking out here. So Revolver. So Revolver would have been one of the first albums to have actually come out on this format, rather than being come back to, if you know what I mean. Because they started out in about 60. They became kind of successfully commercially around sort of 65, 66. So yeah, this would have came out instantly as the album came out. So this could even be from 1966. I very much doubt it, but it could be. I don't think they came over to England until a little bit later, maybe 69, 70. But again, I'm not entirely certain about that. We'll put that there. We'll move on next to Queen. I mean, the one Queen album I found, Queen 2, which I think is one of their best. Queen 2 and Sheer Heart Attack. Probably my top 3 to be honest, but Queen 2 is amazing. It's like a sort of prog rock concept album, really. It's a very, very good album. 1974, this could well be from 1974. I have no reason to doubt that actually. It probably really is. Again, what's with the black and white in England? I don't know. I guess we're just cheap like that. Who knows? The American ones are all in colour. Something about that. I'm not quite sure why this bugs me, but it does. But then again, you don't need that album cover in colour particularly. Move on to one of the greatest musicians of all time, Ringo. That's right. And this is the so that's upside down, isn't it? I just noticed that. So like this, I mean, are these bootlegs? Because if you look at the track listings all here, the Ringo album itself, it's supposed to be that way up. Because you've got Ringo stood there with the audience behind him and all that, and then the reflection thing. But they've gone with the let's put it the wrong way up because we don't give a shit approach, which is kind of interesting actually. Yeah, they were desperate to get this one out. What were the tracks on here? Photograph was a big hit actually at the time. What else? Oh my, you're 16. I mean, you shouldn't maybe have not done that one. But yeah, Devil Woman. I wonder if that's the same as the Cliff Richard one. I don't know. 1973 probably was as well. Bit of Ringo there. And next we have, last but not least, of the commercial albums, we have Led Zeppelin's House of the Holy. And now this is another, is this, no, it's a British one, but it's in colour, so I don't know. I don't know what's official and what's not. I'm not an aficionado on 8-track cartridges, but I imagine that the ones in colour with the cool background, the back bit stuff, signed by a member of the band as well, look. Remember him? He played the drums. That's not true, but that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? But yeah, I think this one, because it's green and it's got the cool colour bit, this is definitely an official thing, which is cool. I'm not even sure about the rest of it, to be honest. The Ringo one has thrown me slightly because the whole like getting the album the wrong way up it's not a sign of great quality, is it really? I don't know. So we're going to move on now to what I intend to eventually play these things on. So I'm just going to kind of fudge them all up and plonk something down. This. Okay, let's turn him around so we can have a little look at the top. Yeah, that's right, man. This is a 2XL robot with a personality. Made by Mego. Mego, a company that I love. I love Mego toys. They're some of my favourite things. Obviously Star Trek and all that, you know. Just I made a video on Mego stuff. Go and watch that and see what you think, I guess. So yeah, the robot. Let's take a little look at him, shall we? What it says on there. He's a talking robot. He can tell jokes. He can ask true or false questions, ask multiple choice questions, tell you if you're right or wrong. give you the correct answer and more information on many different subjects. You can play games, and you can have your friends with you, play games with you and your friends, play standard 8-track cartridges. Now that's what we're interested in the most. As well as 2 XL cartridges, no batteries necessary, which is a bastard, because that means I've got to find an adapter lead that'll plug into it. Bearing in mind it's probably American, so I'm going to have to try and work my way around that somehow. Or this could be actually the British version. No, it's the English version. I haven't got to worry. Made by Americans mainly, but this is Burbank Toys, so that means it's a subsidiary thing that's brought out in England. So that means it will actually work with English electricity, which is great, because that could be a real pain in the arse, the power converting stuff. Just ask, I don't know, Luke Skywalker. Anyhow, manufactured in Taiwan. 1978, so this was sat in someone's attic for absolute years. I bought this from eBay, and it didn't cost me very much money. I think they kind of wanted to get rid of it, really. It's fair enough. So let's take it out. Let's take it out. It's covered in polystyrene. Just gonna breathe some of that in. So yeah, come on out the box. Come on, robot. Right, look at that. So he's got so his eyes blink as well when he's turned on. So do mine actually. There's a little insight for you. So yeah, here's the controls at the front. Questions, answers. Look at that. Look, the dials, and you stick your cartridge in. Like that. It goes in and plays. You know, I don't want to stick it in too much. That's what she said, because I might not be able to get it back out again. Yeah. So yeah, it's a thing, isn't it? It's a thing. It also comes with other stuff. So let's have a little look at it, shall we? It's got arms and legs. It's got a speaker at the back. It says Migo. Yep, made kind of by, you know, US, foreign stuff and things. Yep, his name's Pat. Underneath he's got like a, what's this, when he's last tested out or something? No, serial number. Inspected by, don't know. No one's ever inspected it. So does it work? Does it not? We'll find out. I might get electrocuted one day trying this out. Who knows? But I mean, it's a pretty cool, damn cool thing to play your 8-track cartridges on, really, isn't it? I mean, look at it. Look at it on the back, look. And that's what it looks like in action. And its eyes, like, blink at you as well. And it's got like an anarchy thing in its head that's not on the toy. Yeah. So, yeah, that comes with some other stuff as well. So, this came with... One of them is still in its box. This came with these, look. You have these hanging up in the shelves. And yeah, what's that? Guinness Book of Records. So this will tell you, like, you know, well, it's basically the Guinness Book of Records, but on 8-track cartridge. And the idea is that this interacts with you. So you ask it questions, it will tell you the answers, that kind of thing. And there's all the other ones you can get, look. Games and puzzles, sports. It's an interesting thing. I just don't know how on earth it's going to work, but I guess we'll find this out. I'm not gonna plug it in for this video though, because yeah, we're just gonna make a short one here, all about the cartridge itself. But we'll come back. I will go and get a power conversion thingamajig, and we'll make another video asking it games, like playing games with these things, asking it questions and that kind of thing. We'll come back and do that, but one day. But yeah, here's another one. Look, this is general information. See, these are cool. These are more like American sort of style, aren't they? Because there's some effort's gone into them. Yeah, it makes you think, doesn't it? It makes you wonder. Some more here. We'll just go through them. So, Science Fiction 2, a quiz show on science fiction, which is what you want. And what this has here. So, this has on the front, it's the same with all of these, I think, somewhat, is false. As you can see, true A, B false, C yes, and D no. So when you stick that in there, that kind of matches up with these buttons here. So you see, that kind of gives you some insight into how you actually play this game. So yeah, cool. Wham! Not Wham's first album, but superheroes and super comics. Comic book cavalcade. I don't know what a cavalcade is. I'm not looking it up. Yeah, comic strip parade of favourites. That's probably what that means. You've got all the classics there, as you can see. 1979 as well. I mean, if this all works, that'll be amazing, right? Jury's out, really, isn't it? But we'll see. We'll see at some point. And we have here science fiction. So yeah, the idea is, so I have this monster. So I have this robot here, and he'll be able to play games. But what I'm hoping is, I could just stick albums in it and listen to those as well, which I don't see why not. I think I read somewhere that that's a thing you can do. So yeah, so here we go. A little bit about 8-track cartridges and some of the amazing things you can do with them. Obviously, mainly they were just in cars. Also, they brought out a home stereo version of it, which is just a separate on your home stereo system. You don't see them around very much anymore. In fact, I don't ever remember seeing those in England. I think that was more an American thing, I think. I think in Britain they were really just for your car, but you know, you can put this on your skateboard instead, which would be even cooler, right? Yeah. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Yeah. Please like, share, and subscribe to The Good, The Bad, and The Ugly Show.
Because there's no room left in hell.
Does your tape collection look like this? Then you need a K-Tel tape selector. With special attachments, it fits conveniently in your car, stores all your tapes neatly, ready for easy selection. Tilt the first tape forward. The others follow automatically. Take your selection when it appears. When replacing tapes, Tape Selector automatically finds the proper place. In your home or in your car, protect your valuable tapes with Tape Selector. $4.99 from K-Tel.
Fine, thanks.
What's your story?
Well, I'm in young girls' pants. I manufacture pants.
Oh, what filth.
Why don't you prove it now?
I don't feel that there's any great interest in it. Clearly, you must have felt the world wanted to know what your private parts looked like, and now the world knows.
Suggesting
Dummies! Dummies!
A consonant, please, Carol.
C.
A vowel.
That is E.
Another vowel.
Another vowel. I.
Consonant.